Hey, it's Kate Peters. Let me see, are we live yet? Yeah, we are live. All right, let me just get this fixed. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I want to do a quick impromptu training with all of you. I'm actually getting ready. I'm heading out in a few minutes to lead a workshop for a big law of attraction group here in Boston. So I'm excited about that. And there's something that I'm actually going to be sharing with them. And I figured, well, geez, why not share it with all you guys? And especially since you're not local, you can't come over tonight for the 2 hours to the meeting. So anyways, if you're here, please say hi. I'm going to take a quick look at my page. Let me know you're here. Say hi. Let me know where you're from. Because I do something I really want to teach you, especially if you are looking to find out how to bring in consistent cash into your business. So that's the focus of today's live stream. And I'm going to teach you something that's actually easy but not easy. I don't know how, you'll hear as I explain it, but it's something, it's super critical, and all the other stuff doesn't really matter unless you're doing this. So I want to share that with you. So I'm going to take a quick look and just make sure I'm broadcasting okay. And again, please say hi. So I'm just looking on my looking online to see who's here. Say hi. If my topic is resonating, please click like or do a share or something. So I know that this resonates with you. And oops, let's see. So today we're just talking about consistent cash. Investa, I see you there. Hi. Let's see, there's a comment. Let's see. I get that there. There we go. Now I got this thing fixed. Oh, thank you for your luck. I appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I love doing these workshops. And tonight's workshop is actually, I'm going to turn the sound off of my phone because I hear it kind of vibrating back at me, and then it's hard to focus in on you guys. So please, if you're here, say hi, let me know where you're from, say hello. So tonight's workshop that I'm actually doing for them is a workshop on vision boards. And I love teaching that. I do that with my coaching program. We do that once a year. It's kind of like a ceremonial thing because it's really, really critical as we're setting intentions of what we want to create. And, people then when they do their vision boards, and I've been teaching vision boards for years, they'll have things like, fancy cars and the vacations and this and that and all sorts of things. And, all this is, of course, important because you want to know where you want to go, whatever that might be. Some people want the materialistic stuff. Some people more just want to feel good and happy. Again, no judgment, whatever's going to make you happy. That's all I really care about. But the thing I see that is missing so often from entrepreneurs, and I see this really all the time, and I don't really see a lot of people talking about it, so that's why I want to really share it with you, because I'm going to share this message with everybody tonight, is that, and when I was actually out walking this morning, and so let me actually backtrack for a moment so it'll kind of make sense where I'm coming from. In Boston, especially when we've got the nicer days, we've had a bit of rain, but we have the nicer days, I love to go out and go for a walk. I just feel that when I go out and I see, especially this time of year, I see the flowers, everything's green and bright. The gardeners have been around at everyone's houses and it looks pretty. And it, of course it invigorates me, but more importantly, it really grounds me. And I need that. And I think all of us really need that. We need that feeling of being grounded, being centered, of really being focused on what's most important to us. And this feeling too, when you're grounded, then when things happen, you're less likely to get pushed this way or pushed that way or whatever, that you're still able to move forward. So if this is making sense so far, do a like or a heart or something. So I know, let me just look down here. Investi, you said you've never done a vision board. So cool. Maybe it's time. Maybe set that as an intention for you. But what I want you to think about is, whether it's a vision board, anything in your business, right? And just because I'm talking about vision boards, that's why I kind of brought this up. But anything that you're doing in your business, it's so critical to be grounded. And I find that most people really aren't. They're caught up with this thing or that thing. All the fears and doubts are popping up. And the thing is that when you're grounded, that stuff doesn't really throw you off. And I know it sounds funny. I'm a former flight attendant, and I'm talking about being grounded, instead of being up in the air, because, obviously as a flight attendant, you're always up in the air. But when you take that time to really be grounded and get in touch with what is most important to you, what do you really want? How do you want, you don't even say your whole entire life, but just how do you want that day to go or the next hour to go? And you really just start kind of tuning into that. It really helps. I find, I'm provided opportunities all over the place, And, they all sound wonderful, this thing and that thing, and what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? And they can be enough to send my head spinning. And when that happens, that actually kind of incapacitates me. Just to be really honest with you guys, when there's too much going on, I get in a way, get frozen, because it's like I need to make a decision to move on. And when all this stuff is popping up, I'm not quite sure what to do. But what happened, like I'll give you an example, what happened to me today, I got a bunch of opportunities and people were calling and this and that. And then when I got off the phone, I just kind of grounded myself and just said, what is really most important to me? And is this really the best way, in the way that I want to do it, going to get me there? And that gave me either an easy yes or an easy no. And that helped me just move forward and back to being grounded. Because when you're grounded, when I'm grounded, when any of us are grounded, we're more productive, we're more focused, we're happier. Because when we're not grounded, all the fears and doubts pop up. So I want everyone to really understand that, because I want you to start thinking about what you can do on a regular basis to ground yourself. And, I teach sales conversations. That's something I believe is probably the most consistent way to get cash. I see all this other stuff, and again, not knocking things like Facebook ads or webinars or whatever. I mean, these things are all great. I do them all. But I think ultimately you still have to have sales conversations. And to be the most effective at a sales conversation is when you are grounded. So if this is making sense for those of you who are here, will you just do a like or a heart or something, so I know that it's making sense to you. Because, and Deborah, I see you're there. Jessica, hi, good evening, you guys. And what I want you to think about is, so just taking the example of a sales conversation, that if you're going to be doing something, and let's say you're having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, whether it's virtual or over the phone, and you get either you're worried, like, what if this person doesn't like me, or what if my offer's not good enough, or what if my pricing's too high, what if my pricing's too low, all this kind of stuff. That sends your head again in that same tailspin that I was talking about earlier. And when you're kind of coming off that way, it's very, very difficult then to really make that connection that you want to make with somebody and have them really be connected to you and want to say yes, because you're too much in your own head. So if that makes sense, I just want to stop right there for a second. If that's making sense, will you guys do hearts or likes or something? I want to make sure, because I don't want to move on unless that's making sense, because that's really, really key what I just shared. So let me just put my glasses down and see. Cindy, hi, I see you just joined. Eve, you just joined. Hi, everybody. So we're talking about how to bring in consistent cash. And what I'm sharing with everybody, for those of you who just joined, is how critical it is to take time every day to be grounded, okay? Because otherwise, you just get caught up with all this stuff. And I know, if you're like me, you see the emails, you get the phone calls, you get this thing, you get that thing, all the Facebook ads popping up at you, and everything looks great. Everything looks like, yep, got to do it right now. But that's why you want to be grounded. And so back to even thinking about like sales conversations, that whether you're doing it from the stage, or you're doing it in person, you're doing it over the phone, you're doing it on a webinar, however you're doing it, that when you're able to really get grounded and say, I know what my intention is. I know, what I believe in. I know what I believe about myself. I know what I know about myself. And you're able to really ground into that and kind of push away all the fears, all the doubts, all those kinds of things. You are much more likely to be successful. Okay? Now, otherwise, what'll happen is if someone says no to you, or they ask a question, or they have an objection, whatever, that's going to just throw you off your game. But if you're grounded, you're more solid, right? So that's what I really want to infuse in all of you. I want to kind of share that knowledge with you, because the more you can ground yourself each and every day, the less likely you are to be thrown off when something doesn't go the way you want it, when someone says no to you, when someone throws an objection at you, like it's too much money, or I don't have the time, or whatever they're saying to you, you're much likely to ground and kind of say, okay, so how do I want to respond to that? As opposed to going into a tizzy saying, what do I do now? What do I do now? They're talking about the money. They think I'm too much. Should I just give it to them for free now? We've all done that, right? I mean, I did that a lot in my first year of business. So will you guys just kind of think about what I said and just tell me, is that making sense? Do you need me to explain further? Is it clear? What's kind of popping up for all of you? And I'm just looking at the notes here. And hey, Cindy, how are you? So Vesta, I didn't know if you meant human contact. Is that how you ground? I wasn't sure if that's what you meant there. So think about that. Like, how can you every day pull in things to ground yourself? And there's no right or wrong. Just so you guys know, this isn't a test. This isn't like there's only one way to ground. For me, I love going for a walk every morning. That's the most important important way I can start off my day. And when we've had rain in Boston, I have to get really creative and think of other ways, because otherwise I feel slightly off kilter. So normally if I'm grounded, there you go, I'm standing like straight like that. When there's rain and I don't get to do my walk, I feel like I'm a little like off kilter. There used to be what was that commercial? There used to be some commercial that if somebody had something in the morning, they stood straight up, and if they didn't, it was like some juice or something. And if they didn't, or caught whatever, then they kind of went sideways. And so I just know every morning I think about what can I do to ground myself. And it's more elaborate for me than a walk. I do throw other things in too, but that's a really critical and key piece of what I do. So okay, anchoring helps you. You said that, Eve. Cindy, you said listening to music. Kristen, you just joined us. Hi, how are you? We're talking about being grounded to really help you, because when you can be grounded all the time, then all the other things are not going to throw you off, and it's so much easier to bring in consistent cash. If you're always worried about like this thing and that thing, and what about this and what about that, and you lose your focus, then you're going to spend all this time kind of in a tizzy, as opposed to being productive. And productive is very different than being busy. Busy just means you're kind of like, like a busy bee. Oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and you're kind of all over the place. Productive is very methodical. It's strategic, because you're doing what's right for you. You're being aligned. You're also, in a way, productive is actually using less energy than being busy is. Okay, so that's really key to know. When you're productive, you're using less energy than when you are being busy. Right? Busy is kind of just scurrying around. Okay, so how can you start, when you think about this, if you can start doing this, that's going to start making you so much more successful in your business if you can do this each and every day. And for those of you, because I know I've been getting a lot of questions about it, I just want to let everybody know, and I'll put the URL up there. I am diving really, really deep into the topic of sales conversations at conversationstoclientslive.com. I believe that's the fastest and best way to consistent income. And I'm spending 2 whole days with every entrepreneur who's ready to just like dive in and not only just learn what to say in a way that sounds authentic, but really more importantly, deal with all the inner game stuff, the stories you're telling yourself about sales conversations and all that, which are always getting in the way. Things my clients have told me that have popped up for them is like, they don't want to bother somebody. They don't want to get rejected. What if the pricing's too high? What if they can't help them in the way the person wants to be helped? All those kinds of things. So that's what I'm going to be diving in for those 2 days, because it's meant to be a transformational experience where that way you walk out and you're very, very comfortable with how to do it. The beauty of it is that it isn't just about sales conversations, because when I teach my clients how to do this, the shift is, what's the word? I can't think what the word is, not endless, but, oh man, there's some word that slip my mind, but there's no limit. There's no limit to the shift, because as they start showing up in a more confident, bigger way, other things start shifting, not only just in their business, but in their life, their personal relationships, their relationship with themselves. Everything transforms, and I'd love for you to be part of it. So it's conversationstoclientslive.com is where you can get your ticket. So let's see. Cindy, I don't know if I mentioned this. You said you've got listening to music. Vesta, you like ground with nature. Yep. Even good to touch the trees. In fact, what I used to hear when I was a flight attendant, and again, I don't know if this is true or not, so, if, might just be a old wives' tale or something, but I've heard that a way with jet lag to ground yourself if you've been flying is to actually go barefoot and stand on ground. So literally to ground yourself, and that's more just to release jet lag as opposed to the reasons I'm telling you about. So I've tried that, and it feels really good. So feel free to do that too. I mean, especially if you're in a nicer climate, this time of year, go kick your shoes off and go step on the ground, and maybe that'll ground you too. So I want you to really try this as you're going through your day. Start to create this as a daily routine to ground every day. Do it more times. Right now, as many of you know, my dad passed away, and grounding is so much more important to me than ever was before. And I go sometimes for 2-3 walks a day. I'm always doing things, whatever's going to ground me, what's going to keep me centered, because then when I do that, I show up and how I want to show up, as opposed to kind of feeling all over the place, and that's really, really critical. Oh, okay. A part of training is hugging trees. Yeah, I bet that feels really good, right? When you connect, and so you think about it. Whether it's nature. For me, I love the nature. I've always loved that. But whatever your thing is, it doesn't have to be nature. It could be that maybe you just want to meditate. Maybe you just want to, I don't know, get quiet and listen to some meditation. Maybe you want to listen to um, some kind of motivational audio. It really doesn't matter. Again, it's finding what works for you. It could be as simple as going and, I've got a dog, and playing, like sometimes I play with Callie. It could be as simple as you've got a dog or cat or horse or bird or, snake, I don't know, something. And you just want to, connect with your animal, your family member. It could be all different things, right? It doesn't have to, walking's what works for me. I just want to share what works for me. The way I always coach and mentor is I share what works for me or what I've seen others do, and then I help you find what works best for you, because I don't believe there's a one size fits all. And I actually hate coaches who say, like, you've got to do it this way. That's not my thing. So anyway, so any thoughts or questions, comments about this? Because I know I'm going to be heading over to, the reason this popped up is I'm heading over to lead a workshop for a law of attraction group here in Boston. They've invited me, so getting ready to go. And the reason this topic even popped up is I was, on my walk this morning, I always set an intention of what do I want to get across at this event that I'm leading. And that's where it came up, is like, I really want them to know, as they're putting their vision boards together, how important it is to ground. And I want to make sure I share this with all of you, because not all of you, of course, are living here in Boston, are able to hop over to that workshop tonight. So any thoughts, questions, comments, anything? Well, I still have a minute or two. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Eve. I appreciate that. It should be a really good group. It's always a fun group. So I'm really hoping you guys come to my event. I'm a connector. You guys know that. I love creating these cool things. We've already started planning. We've got some fun stuff too. It isn't just going to be all serious, like buy my product type event. That would totally not work for me. So we've got some fun things. I can't tell you what the fun things are. I can tell you the food is going to be amazing. The food is always amazing there. And with your ticket comes lunch for both days, and it's a buffet lunch. They even have homemade potato chips. Maybe I shouldn't tell you that. They also have, I've seen for dessert, I've seen mousse, I've seen creme brulee, I've seen little eclairs. I shouldn't tell you all, you guys, this stuff, but the food is really, really good. And it's just a beautiful area. So, which is what I want, because for a transformational event, I want people to be able to, just like we've been talking about nature, I want you to be able to get out and walk around and look at the lake there. There's white swans, there's black swans. It's very, very cool. So if there's no other questions, I'm just taking a quick look. I want to just thank you guys for joining me. This was totally impromptu. I just wanted to do this before heading out. And, share. Let me know how this is going for you. And really, I can't stress enough. I see all this stuff out there. And yes, absolutely, I sell, I've got my courses and my products and stuff like that. But sometimes some of the best things are not these fancy, convoluted things. Sometimes it's just really getting back to what makes sense, right? And doing what makes sense as opposed to all this bright, shiny object shit. Or bright, shiny object stuff. So anyways, I want to wish everybody a really wonderful evening, and I hope I see you guys all in Boston at the event. Take care and be on the lookout for more training. Bye now.